Okay, here. Okay.
Hey. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We hope you are having an amazing Sunday. We are here live in full effect. This is our YouTube show. This is Opinions. My name is Ebony Nicole, and she is
Elisa Matisa. Hey.
What's going on, co-host?
Nothing much. It's so beautiful outside. The sun is shining. I wanted to bring this whole setup outside before it starts getting cold. But then I'm too scared, like something might drop the signal or something. So I'm gonna set it up next time. But it's all
That'll
good.
be a vibe.
Yes.
That would be a whole vibe.
Yes.
Doing the live show outside.
You know I love an outdoorsy thing. Yes.
Yes.
But how you doing?
I'm good. I feel good. This weekend was good, productive, and I'm ready to go live and talk this talk. We got so much going on during the week with these hot topics. You want to go right into it?
Yeah, Breonna Taylor. We was talking about it this week because it was like, first of all, they prepared.
Want to go right into it?
Decision to come down anyway. Like it was like they already set up like barricades, all kind of stuff, which is crazy.
Right. They were prepared. They were preparing because they already knew.
And they don't know how we're gonna react to it, but they kind of knew. Like, they did the one little charge for the cop, but it was like they know that's not gonna be enough for us. So it was almost like they prepared for the worst if we was gonna start rioting and stuff. So
right.
So what do you think about the charge? Okay, what do you think about the one charge that was leveled against one out of the three cops? What do you think?
So let me say this first. An innocent Black woman was killed in her home, and I feel like it's a mockery by our justice system.
Mm-hmm.
They got zero. Breonna Taylor received zero justice. And it's basically telling every Black woman in America that we don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I feel. I think that was a slap in our face for giving that one cop that charge. And it wasn't even the charge of the death of Breonna Taylor. It was because he shot in one of her neighbors or a few neighbors' homes with his firearm. And so I feel like they plainly just said, we as Black women do not matter. There was no accountability at all.
Yeah.
At all. So I feel like justice was not served. I don't think it was served at all.
But let me just say before I give my opinion that I can't see the live. I want to see the comments, but I'm not. I guess, you'll be able to see. Can't post comments to some destinations. Okay, whatever. But I don't know. But let me just say before I give my opinion that I feel like in a lot of cases, justice, like we definitely oppressed. Like I always say, racism is absolutely there. We definitely got a problem. But do I think that in this situation, do I think that the cops deserve, all three cops should be penalized and held accountable? I don't think so, to be honest. I think that these cops, it's like they're like puppets in a whole type of puppet game. Like they're like the low-lying fruit on a big tree when we need to be getting to the root of the problem. And I just don't think they are the root. The cops that went there, they was executing a warrant, and they executed this warrant because they were told to do it.
Right.
Now, if you go into a house, whether it's me and I got a gun on me, whether I'm a cop or not, but that's their job. They're going into a house and a shot is directed at them outside this house. They had a no-knock warrant. They didn't have to knock. So they went there to execute this warrant without knocking because they didn't have to. So because they executed the warrant that the judge signed off on, the detective gathered all the evidence why they needed this warrant. They went to the house to execute on this warrant, still knocked on the door. They may not have announced themselves, but then gunshots rang out at them. They returned fire. Now, I don't know. Somebody needs to tell me. Maybe they can listen. I got an open mind. Maybe somebody can tell me, why do you think these cops should have been arrested? Because I don't believe they should have been.
Let me say that
this case is different from the rest of the cases. I don't think this should go under the category with George Floyd.
Right. Let me say this. Do I think the cops went into Breonna Taylor house with the intentions on killing a Black woman? No. But it was a series of events that led up to all of their mistakes, right? The cops ran in the house thinking it was some type of trap house already. That was one, right? A shot was fired by Kenneth Walker, her then boyfriend. Then the cops, because he thought they were intruders. Then the cops shot back because he thought that they were gangbangers or it was a drug bust, right? I just think that I believe that after the fact that they shot this Black woman, now they like, whoa, hold on. Like, we just shot a Black woman. Like it's coming to them now. And I also believe after they found out that they made these mistakes, they try to cover their ass. So you're saying that they had this warrant. They didn't have a warrant. He falsely signed the warrant. You know, did you read up on that?
Okay, the cops don't sign off on a warrant. It's usually the detective that issues the warrant. And right. the judge signed off on it. That's what I'm saying. The judge, where is the judge in this matter that signed off on this order to serve the warrant? Where's the detective that issued the warrant for the judge to sign? I'm just saying the cops didn't sign off on the warrant.
Omar said they definitely tried to cover it up. Omar said they definitely.
That's what I'm saying. But okay, they covered it up. Should they be fired or should they be doing jail time? Like, what are we doing now?
Somebody should be. I'm not saying maybe the cops, but I'm saying is somebody should be accountable. Nobody was arrested. No, only that one cop was fired, but nobody was found accountable. Nobody. So let me give you the four.
That's what the problem is. That was the problem. I think the cops should be held accountable. I don't think the cops should be. No, I don't think the cops should be held accountable.
Let me say this. On any job you have, you make a mistake, you're going to be held accountable. Anywhere you are, if you made a mistake, you had a paper you had to put out and you sent it to the wrong place, you have to be accountable for your actions. And what I'm saying is zero.
No,
zero.
Okay, it wasn't zero. He got fired.
Well, fired.
Like we would be at a job if he messed up.
He got fired. Somebody is dead. Somebody lost their daughter. That's what I'm
saying. Do I think it was the three cops though that was responsible for her death? Where's the judge at? What? This is what I'm saying. I think us as a Black people, we need to refocus. Right. Stop saying arrest these cops when it was a detective that issued the warrant. It was the judge that signed off on the warrant. It was like only they are like it's almost like when they trying to get all of these drug dealers, but where's the kingpin that's dropping these drugs? Where are these people? It's like we almost like we fire these cops, we arrest these cops. Well, because the judge signed off and the detective signed off on these orders, it's still gonna keep happening after this. We need to get to the root of the problem. These cops are not the root. They're not the root. And I just feel like we focusing on these cops when it's like, where's the judges? Let's vote. Let's vote to get these judges out. Let's vote for these prosecutors. Let's do something else. It ain't the cops.
Okay, so let's talk about a few facts. 3 with the police, what they did to cover up, right? The first one, they said that when they got there, well, first police said she had no injuries. This is what they reported, that Breonna Taylor had no injuries, but she was dead already. That was the first cover up. If you remember, that's a fact, right? Yeah. The second one is before they executed the search warrant, they sent the ambulance away. So the ambulance was there on site and they sent the ambulance away. The ambulance was supposed to stay on site. That's 2. And then again, like we said, the lieutenant lied on the no-knock warrant application that forced the police to barge into their home to kill Breonna Taylor.
But that's what
so
I'm saying.
What I'm saying is, yes, the cops need to take responsibility, and yes, they covered up a lot of things. And I get what you're saying. Yes, the lieutenant did it. Yes, we should be getting at the judges, but the police did a lot of things to cover up some of their tracks, because when they we just killed, and especially when they found out that we're in the wrong home. This is not even, whoever was supposed to be arrested is arrested already.
No, that's not the cops' fault though. But the 3 cops that was there, that's not their fault. They were sent there. But what I'm saying is that, hey Ma, hey Omar, hey Maribel, hey everybody. Thank you for joining us. Love you guys. But what I'm saying, and y'all gotta chime in, because I need somebody to convince me that the cops are not responsible. I mean, the cops are responsible, because I really do not feel it's the cops' fault. Like, they were there executing on a warrant. They covered it up. Yes. So
they were wrong. They were a part of her death. That's what I'm saying.
But what I'm saying is that, does that make it a murder charge? Because they covered.
I'm not saying go to jail for life, but you take responsibility. They got to be accountable for something.
But that's what I'm saying. The accountability was, listen, I don't even think all 3 of them should have been fired. I do think that the one that got fired, that is holding him accountable. He got fired.
Right. Okay.
He got fired for covering it up, shooting recklessly. Listen, what I do think it was, I think they probably need, I just don't think it's the cops' fault, because at the end of the day, there's a problem within the whole police system. They need to be retrained. They need to learn how to de-escalate situations. They need to, she said, you sound like, I sound like Charles Barkley.
Logan says you sound like Charles Barkley. It's murder.
Okay, fact. But what I'm saying is that I want you to understand, and that's what I'm saying. If somebody has an opinion otherwise, I just need to know, why are the cops held responsible for an order that a detective issued, for an order that a judge signed, for, like, all of these other people sent these cops there. Like, the postmaster said she has packages being sent to her house. The postmaster, whoever, there was so many moving parts in this whole situation, and everybody is focusing on these 3 cops. Let's focus on the judge. Let's focus on the detective. Where's he at?
That's what Tamika Malley said in her speech. Can we play a little bit of her speech?
Yes.
That she said, do not forget the judge and the lieutenant who signed off. So I agree, but I just feel like the cops are accountable as well.
Let's why? Okay, we got to get back to this. I want somebody to tell me, why do they think? Okay, they shot. I want somebody to tell me, why do they think that the cops should be held responsible with the judge and the detective? Why? But the judge didn't sign.
Omar said, but the judge didn't sign her to death.
Okay, so you telling me, if you got a gun on you, even if you're not a cop, you got a gun on you, you going to say hello to somebody, you got a gun on you. Let's just say you're saying say hello or whatever, and somebody behind the door starts shooting at you and you got a gun on you. What you gonna do? Are you gonna defend yourself, or are you gonna just be shot at and die?
I agree to defend. I get that, right? But at the end of the day, a lot of stuff was messed with. A lot of stuff was, even when they got there, it was 11 people who said that they did not hear the cops announce when they were at the door. It was one person who said that they heard them announce themselves. Out of 11, it's a lot of things that they did that I just.
But once again, they didn't have. But once again, the judge issued a no-knock warrant. They did not have to knock. They didn't have to announce themselves. They didn't have to.
And but the judge said they did as well.
That's what I'm saying. But they didn't have to do. But why is that cops being held responsible if they were given a no-knock warrant? They was given the warrant to not have to knock. And
let's play that debate.
Yeah. Okay. So
let's play that debate, a little bit of it, and.
Okay, let me share the screen. Wait, let me get this queued up so we can listen to it. Okay, here we go. Let me. Okay, wait. I don't know why there's a commercial playing.
Yeah, it's gonna
Felt like
stop.
I was
It
fighting
plays for
uphill
a little
battle
bit.
in my career.
It'll
So when
stop.
I heard about the applied digital skills courses,
Pull back, pork.
Can you hear it?
No.
Okay, wait. Wait 1 second. Let me just see why this is not.
Digital skills. When you lift up one person, you lift up.
Yeah, I don't know why it's okay. The sound is getting messed up. Okay, here we go.
Justice for Breonna Taylor. And if there ain't gonna be no justice, there ain't gonna be no peace. A settlement
Can you hear it?
is restitution,
Yes.
but it's not arresting the cops. And we want to say today that the police officers responsible for killing Breonna Taylor must be arrested in order for the community to feel calm. We understand that this is an acknowledgement, and a great acknowledgement, of the wrongdoing that has happened. And it is important that our community understands what happened here today is very significant. It is significant because, again, there is an acknowledgement of Breonna Taylor's life and the fact that those officers in this city murdered her. Breonna Taylor has shifted the atmosphere. She shifted it not just here in Kentucky, but across the country.
You want to play this whole thing?
No-knock warrant.
Yeah, it's almost over.
Where we begin in terms of great reform. And to know that Attorney Lanita Baker and Attorney Sam Aguiar continue to push for reform in this particular settlement is extremely important, and it cannot be denied. We must acknowledge it. The reforms are evidence that the city, unfortunately, its police department has been exposed for some corruption that exists within the department. The significance of this settlement is a small price to pay for our sister's life, a very small price to pay. They deserve all the money that we can muster up in the world just to help a little bit with the feeling of pain and turmoil that I know exists within this beautiful family. But let us not lose sight on the main focus, as Tamika Palmer has said. The officers, Brett Hankinson, Miles Cosgrove, John Mattingly, and Joshua James must be arrested. We cannot forget about Joshua James, the man who lied on a no-knock warrant application that sent police officers charging into the home of Breonna Taylor and Kenny Walker. We cannot forget about any of those officers. And if this police department is to do right by this community, if you know of other officers who were involved, they should be arrested and indicted immediately. Again, the restitution portion is one part, but arresting the officers is what will make this city do right by its citizens, and not just Breonna Taylor, but all the Breonna Taylors across this city who are afraid sitting in their homes, because to not have an indictment happen in this city is to say that no matter how much we pay, no matter how much reform we do, we rather cover it than to deal with the issue. And so I have to say to you, Mayor Fisher, we want to thank you for your leadership, but we want to say that if for any reason these officers are not indicted, that you must instruct your police department to fire every single one of them on the spot. That is called getting justice for Breonna.
So my question to you is, you're saying that you feel like the police officers shouldn't be fired. I mean, locked up in prison, right? So do you think at least they should be fired? What do you think about that?
Absolutely. No, I think that one officer, and I still don't know Like, I just think like when a one shot, I just think that it was overkill. It definitely was. It was overkill. I do think they shot over 30 times into the house because of the one bullet. But
right.
I already think there's a problem with the training of these officers. These officers are let out into low-income housing where we are already oppressed, already messed up, already, 400 years of slavery. It's like we already behind the 8 ball. And then you sending cops wet behind the ears that grew up privileged, that got white skin, and they don't know nothing about how to relate to us, how to de-escalate a situation. So I just think this is 3 cops, but it's a bigger situation. I don't know how their training is. I don't know what, like, when the one shot from her boyfriend came at them and they started just shooting everywhere to protect your life. To me, I don't know. You got 3 cops shooting, 3 cops, then you got 1 bullet coming from out of the house. It's 1 bullet. Now we know it was 1 bullet. But when you within the situation and everybody's firing,
right?
How do I know where these bullets are coming from? This is what I'm saying. This is a training problem. I don't know how they're training these cops that's coming out of the police academy. That's the problem. Nate said he thinks that they shouldn't have been arrested. They should be given keys to the city. Now he's bugging.
What's keys to the city?
He's basically saying they should be rewarded. And you're right. They don't know how to relate to criminals. And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that there's a bigger problem with these judges, these DAs. Like, all of them are connected when there should be somebody that's overseeing the judges, overseeing the police officers, the district attorneys. Everybody's wrapped into the same bag, like together. So I just think that there's a bigger problem. But us charging the cops with a murder, when they be put in jail, it's still what's gonna happen with the judges that's issuing these orders? What about the detective that issued the order? What about? And I'm just saying, I want people to look at the transcripts of the police. Breonna Taylor, she was seeing this guy. Like, I need us to understand, like, the people that we get ourselves wrapped into. Because listen, I've done that too. I've dealt with people who was into things that I'm not into that got a criminal past. Right. But I'm not saying it's her fault. It's not at all.
And let me say
what
this.
I'm saying is she dealt with somebody that was they was there. They had a legal warrant. The cops issued, they were serving a legal warrant.
I hear a lot of talk about now they're bringing up her past. She used to, she was messing with a drug dealer. That does not have nothing to do with the murder of Breonna Taylor, of what she dealt in her past.
No,
that just disgusts me, and I get angry because that does not have nothing to do with somebody going into that lady's house, shooting fire and killing her. That has nothing to do with it. Her past, who she dated, how many guys we dated or might sell drugs or whatever when we were younger. But that don't justify for somebody to come in and give them a right to kill somebody, an innocent person. So
but they were still there to serve a warrant. They were looking for drugs. They were looking for packages that supposedly went there. They were looking. They had it wasn't a wrong warrant. It wasn't like they was at the wrong house. They was at the right house.
Yeah.
So are the cops responsible because they had a warrant that the detective issued that the judge signed off on? Like, are the cops responsible because they claim they had surveillance outside of her house? She was caught with him at the trap house a month before she got killed. So listen, I don't know. Like, I just want somebody, I got an open mind. If she was with him, I'm not saying she deserves to die. It was a tragedy. It was a tragic accident. But what I'm saying is, it's a bigger problem. We focusing on these cops and the judges behind the scene. Like,
I definitely believe it's
almost
bigger
like
situation.
It's almost like everybody. I just believe that.
So Ega Williams, the ballistics for Breonna Taylor's boyfriend did not match what the police were saying, that he shot at the cops. The truth will come out soon. Yeah. I don't know.
No, I think it's in question if the bullet that hit the officer wasn't his bullet. But I don't think it's a question. the boyfriend did shoot. I don't think that's the question. What was allegedly is, did that bullet that the boyfriend shot, was that the bullet that hit the officer, or was it friendly fired within the officer's fire?
Gotcha.
I don't think it's an issue about whether he shot or not.
Sharifa said they never announced themselves. I was just saying that, Sharifa, that they did not announce. It was 11 people who said that they did not announce themselves when they got to Breonna Taylor's house. And it was one person who was on the jury who said, and that's the only person who was on the jury who spoke. So
but once again,
it's a lot of cover-ups. It's just a lot. This is, your mom said, definitely all the cops involved in the shooting into their apartment should be arrested, charged, and jailed. Ramming into their apartment, no knock or announcement, in plain clothes are terrorists.
But
I agree, Mom.
Once again, Sharifa and my mom, once again, the officers that were there, the 3 officers, had a no-knock warrant. They did not have to knock. Now, should we hold them?
But they said they knocked. But they said they knocked. That's what the police
but
said.
what I'm saying is that they didn't have. Okay, they said they knocked, but they didn't have to. What I'm saying is that they did. I know they said they knocked. Okay, but what I'm saying is that they were issued a warrant to execute on, but they didn't have to knock. So why is it therefore, even if they knocked, they said they knocked, they didn't knock, they didn't have to knock. So why are we holding them responsible? And when they get jailed, there's still no knock warrants that are going to be issued where cops are still going to be allowed to bust open people's houses.
I think if
they're allowed to do it.
If they get in prison, I think that's a start. That's a start. You know what I'm saying? Them not
doing what their bosses told them to do.
Nothing, then that's a slap in our face. Again, it's saying to us as Black women that we don't matter. That we don't matter. And that's how I feel. There's no way in hell you can't see that this is injustice. This is an injustice situation.
No, I do think, no, I don't. I just think, listen, I just think this case should not be lumped in with other cases like George Floyd. Like, that was unexcusable. Like, there's no way you should be putting your knee, you killing somebody. I'm just saying, in this situation, when they knocked, they had a no-knock warrant. I'm just saying it was a detective. I just want us to refocus our attention and stop. It's almost like when people say, you know, when they look at me as a Black woman, as a Black, and they hold me responsible for being Black because they consider like all Blacks are bad. Like, I just think in this situation, they went to a house where they were executing on a no-knock warrant, and somebody out of that house shot at them. So it was almost like, you know, I'm protecting my life whether I'm in uniform or not. If I got a gun on me and I'm there to do some business that I'm sent there to do, and somebody shoots at me, I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go, period. Because I'm at the end of the day, I'm protecting my life. And if I'm in uniform and that's my job and I'm allowed to, you know, to defend and shoot back, I just don't think this is, I do think a lot of it is like, would they have done this in a white neighborhood? Maybe not, but I just think these cops are being put in situations where they're not trained. They're not trained. They're not, there's a psychology behind it. They should be taking all kind of psychology classes.
Yeah, I agree.
To de-escalate situations like this. To be able to go into a situation, and they shouldn't have had a no-knock warrant. There should not be no no-knock warrants. That shouldn't even be in existence.
I agree. I agree.
They said they would do it in any. They said they'll do it in any neighborhood. And Glorell said, I thought they had the wrong address, the wrong house. No, Glorell, they had the right house. They had that night. They issued like 6-7 different warrants to different places, because it's almost like they knew that this guy had money, drugs at like 6-7 different places. So they was executing warrants all over the place that same night. So within that same night, they executed on, they arrested the real culprit, but they were still executing warrants all over the place.
So in the beginning, they did say they had the wrong house. That was the talk, that they had the wrong house.
I think that was a rumor, because they didn't have the wrong house. I don't know how that came about. I don't think that's what they said, because they knew he was a drug dealer. They had surveillance on him since last year. So they were surveilling Breonna Taylor. They was tape recording their conversations. he was at a trap house all the time, the boyfriend. So they were watching packages being sent to his house. His address, he was using her address on his bank account. So they got her address because he was using it. So it was almost like, oh, okay, they got her on tape record. They got Breonna on tape also, bailing him out of jail and doing all sorts of things for him. So they started watching her too.
Gotcha.
So they weren't at the wrong house.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were doing that. Maribel said they were doing a sweep, and that's what I'm saying. They were doing.
I just feel like somebody, wherever something went wrong. Period. The officers made a lot of mistakes. They try to cover up, and at the end of the day, somebody is dead. Somebody is gone. They're not coming back. Like somebody lost their life, and I feel like there was no justice served. You firing at one cop, there's no, for me, and we're going to agree to disagree, but there was no justice served. Somebody, on all of them, not even somebody, all of them, from the judge, lieutenant, whoever, should be held accountable for her death.
Bella Brooklyn said, oh, okay, sorry.
If that was my mom, my sister, like, you'll think about it differently. I really believe that.
I do think about it in all kind of aspects. I think about it. If I was the cop, I think about it. If I was Breonna Taylor, if I was the boyfriend, the boyfriend had a right to shoot. He definitely should have shot. He didn't know. It was a tragic accident.
Yeah.
To me, it was a tragic accident. But Bella Brooklyn said, you don't have to announce yourself on a no-knock warrant. And Nate said her name was on the warrant. And Sharifa said Breonna's house was second on the list of homes linked to her ex. Not enough evidence to prove that the household had anything at all to warrant a no-knock invasion. And that's what I'm saying, Sharifa. But if I'm a cop and you give me a warrant and you tell me go out there and go do my job, and it's signed up from a judge and my superiors,
right?
I'm doing the job. I'm going to execute on that warrant.
Right. And I agree with that. I agree with that totally. But at the end of the day, you do something, don't cover it up. You got to be held accountable.
And
period.
I think that's what happened. But he was. Yeah. But why do you think that him being fired wasn't being held accountable?
I'm just saying for all of the officers that was involved. That was, for me, that was I think they basically fired him because if you read some I think I read some stuff on line about him that he was in the midst of he had a lot of write-ups. This particular officer, he just was doing too much already. So that's why I think they fired him. But I don't even think they fired him because of that. They just wanted to shut us up like they always do. And so let's get one of them. Let's fire one of them so we can shut these, So that's how I feel. I feel like all of the officers should, I'm not saying be in jail the rest of their lives, but definitely be held accountable for the cover-ups, period. That's how I feel.
Nate said what went wrong was the police were shot at. That's what went wrong. I don't think that's what went wrong. I do think that the boyfriend should have shot. If they had it was a tragedy all around. It was almost like a recipe for disaster. They issuing a no-knock warrant. The boyfriend didn't know it was the cops. The cops didn't know who was being shot at. They all ringing out shots. I just think all of it was just a recipe for disaster. But do I think murder charges should be brought? No. Do I think the judge should be held responsible? The detective should be held responsible. The postmaster who supposedly said packages were being sent there. There's so many people behind these three cops that should be held accountable.
Yeah.
But do I think it's the cops? No.
I just hope that in this situation that we get to a point where we get everybody to understand that Black people, women, men, we matter. And I just feel like this was a smack in our face showing again that we don't. And so that's how I feel. I pray for Breonna Taylor family, that, her mom, her sister, that God gives them peace in this situation, and that we just got to continue to pray. And that's it. We can't do nothing else but pray. And
we still got to keep fighting. We definitely need justice.
Absolutely.
and so many
Absolutely.
cases where I think we are looked at, we are definitely oppressed. There's cops out here that are untrained, who are white, grew up privileged, and they being sent out in already neighborhoods that's just like, already messed up. And
And
we
they
not
scared
looking.
to be honest, they scared for their lives too. They go in these apartments, they scared, they shooting. I get it. But again, it goes back to y'all need more training. Y'all need to go to these classes, you know what I'm saying? It's mental, like it got something got to change. So so that Breonna Taylor's family is in our prayers. Rest in peace. Do you want to go into Tory Lanez and them story?
Yes, Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion.
Yes.
He released a record on the same day that the next day after they issued the Breonna Taylor charges.
Yeah.
So that is a controversial also because he did that. So a lot of people are pissed off at Tory Lanez because that's one of the reasons. Right. And she was shot at. So what do you think in that situation?
Well, allegedly she was shot at. She says she was shot. So the story is the singer, R&B singer Tory Lanez was friends with Megan Thee Stallion. They went out to a party that night with two other people. And when they got back into the vehicle to leave, there was an altercation and shots were fired. In the beginning, when we first heard about this story, it was said that Tory Lanez shot Megan Thee Stallion in both of her foot, right? She wasn't really vocal about it. She wasn't really talking about it. She didn't even say that, he shot her. Everybody was like speculating. And then it comes out where Megan Thee Stallion comes on her live Instagram and says the whole story, her story, that he did indeed shoot her in both of her feet. And so now Tory Lanez have this album, I think it dropped yesterday or the day before, where he's crying out, telling his whole story about how he did not shoot Megan Thee Stallion in her foot. So, I mean, my question to you is, who do you believe? Like, who's lying? Who do you think is lying? Like, who is benefiting and who is not? Like, what do you think? Do you think Megan Thee Stallion that he shot her in her like?
Yeah, he absolutely shot her. He absolutely shot her.
In her feet?
Yeah, he absolutely shot her. So I don't know what the circumstances are. She hasn't come out with it. She hasn't really said why. He's not saying why. He's made a whole record trying to make money off of it. And that's what I think his purpose was to make money. So he's kind of exploiting the situation. I don't know why he shot her, but he's coming out with so many other things within that situation where he's trying to make money off of shooting her in the feet.
He said it's not that. He said he don't care how much money, no record sales. He said his friendship with her means more. You think he's fibbing? You think he's lying?
Absolutely. He's trying to make money right now. He wants to make money off of that situation. And it was like almost like a perfect opportunity for him. I think what happened was he got drunk. Whatever happened, he got too drunk. He had a gun on him, like most of the time when people act irrational when they get drunk. And he shot at her foot. He got her, and now, he's sober now, but he's still being a jerk off because when you drink, a lot of time it enhances who you already are anyway. So it just seemed like he's a jerk, but he was more of a jerk with a gun because he was drinking. So he shot at her.
I don't think he intentionally shot her. I think they were in the car. It was alleged that he was getting close with Kylie Jenner, the Kardashian sister, where he admitted that in one of his songs. They were in the pool, close, and Megan sees this. She gets upset, leaves the party, goes in the car. He follows, they argue, right? And I think they got into a heated argument, and she left the vehicle and was like, yo, I'm out. And he got mad or whatever and got the gun and started shooting to the ground. But I don't think that he intentionally shot at her, like, I'm going to shoot her. And I'm not saying it's right. He was absolutely wrong, unless he's licensed. I don't even know if he was licensed to carry. But why are you carrying a gun to, you know what I'm saying? If he wasn't licensed. So that was the messed up part there.
Like, I don't know if he got charges on him. Like, does he have pending charges? I'm not sure.
He do. He goes back to court, I think, next month. He's out on bail. He's out on bail. So
then he probably didn't have a license because, he probably didn't have a license and he was shooting recklessly. But I do believe, like, he shot at her. I think she tried to cover up for him or whatever in the beginning. And I think he's trying to make money off of it now. Instead of being a man about the situation, listen, a lot of people get drunk and they do stupid things.
But not shoot nobody.
People do that too. Yes, they do. I just think a lot of times, like, listen, if you already have it in you.
I mean, I know it happened, but happened.
No,
before.
I'm just saying we not killers. We not people with guns that's reckless anyway in our normal lives.
Right. I guess
you give somebody a gun that's already reckless, that's already off the, that's messed up in the head anyway, and you get and they start drinking.
Right.
On top of that, that enhances what's already there. And he never apologized to her. He didn't do anything to even be remorseful and say, a lot of times people drink and they do stupid things that they don't mean to do, and they apologize when they're sober.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But when you're a jerk off and you do something like that, and then you don't apologize when you are sober, and then you putting out an album afterwards, then you just a jerk.
Yeah.
You're a jerk when you're drunk, and you're a jerk when you're sober. So I don't know. I just think like he's profiting off of the situation. Glorel said she believed that she was shot too.
Yeah. His sales are not doing well. And I think that's due. A lot of people are very like upset with him. Like, why? How can you put out an album? And first of all, it's too soon. You just shot her. Like, you know what I'm saying? You didn't publicly apologize to her. Even if you say you didn't, she was traumatized. You had a gun. You were shooting. Like, there was no apology. And you're gonna put out an album?
Well, so so that's what I'm saying. That's why I think he's just profiting off of the situation. He's out of jail. He's not being held accountable right now. So the best thing to him is to that's how people
let me make this money. Let me get this money.
He's just thinking about making money and profiting off the situation. He probably, I don't know how, I never listened to him anyway outside of this. So I don't know how his album sales did before.
His album sells good. He's dope.
He is?
Yeah. Oh, okay. This album to me is good.
I don't know why he would need to do that if his album is so good and he already got album sales. You might think he's good, but how was his album sales? Like, I guess.
No, his album sales prior, he sold. He sells records. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I don't know why he would feel a need to do this if you could sell records on your own. But maybe he felt like
maybe this is his way of communicating. We all communicate different, right? Some of us can't call on the phone, or I'm gonna come check you, or maybe she don't want nothing to do with him, and he like, yo, I'm gonna do an album. She gotta hear me now. Who knows? I don't know.
I think that if he didn't need to do it, I think he's all in this for the paper chase. And it's like, a lot of us are doing good, but even with you're doing good with your sales, but we all know we can be doing better. And no matter what, we're all going to keep striving to do better.
That's true.
So I think that's what his situation is. He probably did good, like you said before. Like, he probably had a lot of album sales, but oh my God, now people are watching him. Now people are interested in knowing the story. So it's like, let me double down on this and make triple the sales instead of great sales. Let me do even better. So I think in his mind, it's like it was the perfect opportunity for him to try to make money off the situation.
Right. And let me see how many sales because I think with these stories, when you have breakups, divorce, any tragic story is always good music. I think you always come out with some good stuff. And he probably felt like, yo, this story can probably make me some good money. So I'm going to do this. And a lot of people wasn't feeling him. And that's why they said his album numbers, the numbers are not doing well at all. But my question to you is, if you were involved with someone as a Megan and Tory Lanez, you guys were friends, you guys were getting to know one another, y'all were getting close. He shot you, or he shot out the window and it hit you. do you think that you can save that friendship after that? Is it any forgiving in shooting, not cheating on you, not stepping out on you, but shooting you? Do you think you can?
It would depend if the person is really, I don't know, because it kind of reminds me of a situation where someone's abusive and then he's drunk. My husband gets drunk and he beats up on me because he's drunk. I got a black eye now the next day, and then he comes home with flowers. And I'm still staying with him after he gives me the flowers.
That's true.
So I don't think like that's in you. Like if you shooting at me when you're drunk, that's in you. Like you could have took my life. Like that's not, oh, you stepped on my foot and you saying sorry. You intentionally took out something deadly and you could have took my life over it. And just like with a man who abuses a woman when he's drunk, he's gonna do that when he's not drinking. So I think in that circumstance, when it comes to a gun and you shoot at me and the shot hits me, or even if it misses, you shot at me. And I don't think in that situation, I'm not forgiving anyone. But if he's sorry, and if I still see, the part about it with Tory Lanez is he did this and he's not even sorry about it. He didn't say sorry. He's doubling down on it, making records, saying that he told her to dance, and then he shot at her because she didn't dance. Like he's saying he's doubling down on it and acting like he's right in the situation. So he's making it 10 times worse. He's not even remorseful. Like at least give me the benefit and be remorseful so I can feel a little bit bad about it. I remember something similar like that happened to me before. Not no shot, not taking my life and shooting at me. But I remember somebody did something crazy to me. Crazy. Where the cops had to get involved or whatever. And I remember at first he was like acting like, you know what? Not even caring, not saying sorry, not saying nothing to me. Like not even being remorseful about it. So I'm like, oh, let me, I'm setting the dogs off on him now. Like it is what it is. Now, so that afterwards, I don't know, I guess it dawned on him like a couple of weeks after, like, oh, she's not playing. When the cops at his door, he started calling me crying, like hysterical crying. Hysterical. So it's like in the midst of that situation, I was like, no, it's too late. It's too late. Cops is at your door, open up the door. You gotta roll with this now. But a part of me was like, if he would have said sorry from the beginning and maybe called me and was a little bit remorseful, then I would maybe be on the fence about it. I don't even know. But just like with Megan Thee Stallion, you're not even giving me the, some kind of feeling bad for you because maybe you're apologizing to me. Like maybe I'm on the fence about it, but you're not even remorseful about it. Oh no. Now you got to roll with this. Now you got to roll with these charges and fight it. And now I'm out of it. Now it's a life of your own. Take care. Goodbye. I don't have no type of remorse for you because you don't even care about yourself. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, I don't think that I would forgive. I don't think I would forgive either, because what type of example would you be to these young girls out here or to anybody? You know what I'm saying? And especially in Megan Thee Stallion, like you are an artist out there where a lot of people look up to you, and your platform, speaks for itself. Like that wouldn't be, I couldn't do it. Like a shove or something, people deserve second chances, but you shooting me, nah, I'm good on that.
That's what Nate said. He said, why would you try to save a friendship with someone who shot at you? That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't save it, but dang, like at least call me and apologize. Like say something. I'm not gonna save the friendship, but let me know you got a conscience.
Right. Yeah, I agree. So no,
that's
there's
the part that's just like no. But I just think like it looks like like you said, his album sales are doing bad. So hopefully, I just don't think people should support this because it's almost like we're rewarding him for being violent to a Black woman, not just a woman, but we can't reward behavior like this.
Yeah,
as a community or as a human
being. You wouldn't listen to his music?
No, I'm not. I don't want to support no streams. I don't want to support him and him thinking that it's okay. Like he's profiting. That was his initial thing, was let me profit off of shooting this woman. You know, I was wrong, but you know what? Maybe there's a rainbow at the end of this tunnel. And I don't want to give him that rainbow. I don't want to contribute to violence, shooting people, and him thinking it's okay, for whatever happens the next time when he starts drinking. I'm not rewarding this behavior.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. Well, we'll see. He goes back to court, I believe, next month. And he is facing, I believe they said 7 or 8 years. They said he's facing. So
now that's somebody I think should be going to jail. He intentionally shot at somebody. We had a party and you intentionally shooting at me. Like, come on now. He should definitely do some time for that. That was just reckless endangerment.
Absolutely, I agree.
That could have been. I don't know if he meant to shoot at, but anybody could have got shot. That shot. That
it could have been anybody outside. Like, you just shooting just because you upset and because y'all had an argument. Yeah, he definitely should be held accountable. Absolutely, I agree, 100%. But I hope Megan Thee Stallion, you know, I hope this is a lesson learned from her. You know how sometimes we go through stuff tragic with guys, with women, and we back with the same person. We back in the same situation or somebody that just like him. So I think everything that we go through in life is learning experiences, lessons. So I hope she got that lesson.
I hope so too.
You know? Yeah. So do you want to go with our final thoughts?
Yes. Final thought. Thank you everybody for tuning in to us. Once again, we're not on just Facebook, but we're on YouTube also. So we're streaming on both platforms. Yes. So you might be able to see some people on Facebook and some people on YouTube, but you can subscribe and watch on either one. So thank you guys for your support on each streaming platform. So I just want to say that before we end with our final thought. So you want to go first?
Yeah, so my final thought is justice will not be served until those who are unaffected are as outraged as those who are. So again, I'm praying for our country. I'm praying for the justice system that one day we can say, yes, we as Black people, we do matter. And so it's going to take us to continue to create these platforms and have conversations about it. We can agree to disagree, but I think it starts with a conversation to get people, you know, awareness and start talking about it and just see change. So, yeah, that's my final thought. Yours, E?
My final thought is I'm definitely pro-Black or Black Lives Matter. And I just feel like, you know, we can't try to piggyback off of Black Lives Matter when our lives are not mattering. So let's fix us first. And then, you know what I'm saying? Once you get us, once the playing field is level, then we can all, you know, be good. But we're not level. We're still behind the 8 ball. We're still trying to catch up. We still are discriminated against. But I just want us to focus on, you know, justice and not trying to get whatever is like, you know, whatever is the low-lying good, you know, looks like a good fruit, like with these 3 cops. I just want us to focus on the bigger picture, the root of the problem. Let's get to that root. Let's go out there and vote. Don't vote for the president. Don't vote every 4 years. Because even me, I can say that I only vote every 4 years too, but because of situations like this, we need to vote.
We need to
for borough president. We need to vote for judges. We need to vote for our assemblymen. We need to get out there and vote on these people who are issuing the warrants. People who are doing things that can affect us in our own neighborhood. Don't just vote for the president. Vote for people in your local communities. So that's what I want to say is get out there, you know, play a part, and let's keep continuing to fight and focus on the roots of the problem. And then after we get to the root, let's get to these small players. But the root is the problem.
Yeah. Good stuff, E. I agree. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Ma. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Yes, Laurel.
Everybody, we see you
Nate
in the chat room. Thanks for joining us this Sunday, taking time out of you guys' busy schedule to come speak with us. Share your thoughts. We thank you every Sunday at 5 p.m. Please like the video. If you like the content, write a comment on the YouTube channel. Again, we are live every Sunday on Facebook as well. We thank you for joining us. We heart you.
Thank you, guys.
Vote, vote, vote.